adjust my audio and adjust the music's audio. Because both are not enough. Okay, so let's see if this worked. I think it did. I think we're sitting good. Trying to fix some stuff. All right. Well, sorry about that, everybody. Those technical difficulties, they show up almost every stream. Ooh. Alright, again, I am not a professional streamer. I wish to be one day, and I will strive for it. Okay. It's been a while, I guess month now since our last stream. I finally passed my computer class of coding. I finished PG1, and I will be getting PG2. So, that is rough, but very good news. Okay, so, what's up, nerds? Welcome back to the Grumpy Grizz stream. We're continuing with our Cryptid Codex compilation. As per usual, we got Rakuah up in here.
What's up, everybody?
Everybody, you guys know Rakuah. She is fantastic. She's been very helpful. If y'all are interested in seeing more of our content involving Rakuah and the Cryptid Codex, please go check out our other YouTube channel. Not our other YouTube channel, sorry, other YouTube video. I noticed that the audio there got messed up as well, so I will be reposting that with better audio for next time. So, bear with us. I am a full-time student and still trying to pump out the information and the videos for you guys, because this is the purpose of Grumpy Grizz. I want to be able to be in such good communication with you as players that I will always know what you guys are wanting. So once I get to start making my own video games, you guys will be a part of the process. I'm not leaving you guys out like a lot of AAA companies are. So, let's see. So if you do follow the Instagram account, I do need to apologize. We were going to stream on February, I think it was 21st, for Star Wars, but some things just got in the way, and we just weren't able to circle back around to it. So, sorry if you guys had your hopes up for that, it just didn't work out. And so, moving on a little bit to our next topic, we are still working towards getting better lighting for the stream. If you want to donate to that or help with the stream in any way, please go to our Ko-fi account. Link should be in the description. I'll double check it and it will be there if it's not there after the stream. This is our next goal, is to get some better lighting so that we can kind of flesh out the stream a little bit better here. Shout out again to the Brothers of the Bleeful for letting me use their Ambience videos in the background of our videos. It's a huge help. I love these guys, y'all. Go check them out. I love listening to Dark Mountain Ambience while I'm doing my school, because it's not too distracting, but it still gives a pretty somber and almost intimidating vibe. I love their stuff. They're so good. They're so good at research. Go check out the Bleeful podcast. It's fantastic, y'all. Go check it out. Okay, so there we go. So, again, the purpose of these videos of building the Cryptid Codex is because one day I plan to have a video game known as the Cryptid Codex. I also plan on making it a book, which honestly, the book will probably come out before the game, but still. The purpose of these videos are to research and theorize cryptids of different states and regions, to categorize them and build our own Cryptid Codex, our actual book of monsters. we will categorize them into these different sections. Possibly animal, proven but extinct, demonic, spiritual, interdimensional, and or alien. So, if you guys want to catch the first half of the Alaska stream, go check it out on the Grumpy Grizz channel. That would be part 1, and part 2 really kind of feeds into part 1. Not a lot, but they are interconnected because it is all the same region. So, with that said, we will pick up right here. The Adlet. This is an interesting story. And honestly, it kind of feeds into another type of cryptid called the Anunnaki, which I'd have to look up their origin again, but they are half dog, half human. But this story is a little different than the Anunnaki, but they are related in a weird way. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it off, and then Rakuah is going to read the story of the Tornet and the Adlet, which, if you remember, the Tornets were the Tornets were the giant peoples that lived close to the Inuits. They were also known as the Alaskan Bushmen or the Hairy Giants. If you guys have not heard that story, go check out part 1 of Alaska. So, I'm going to go ahead and give us the description here. The Adlet, or Kiglet, are a race of creatures in the Inuit mythology of Greenland, as well as the Labrador and Hudson Bay coasts. While the word refers to inland Native Americans, it also denotes a humanoid dog-legged tribe. The lower part of the body of the canine Adlet is like that of a dog, and their upper part is like a man's. All Adlet run quickly, and their encounters with men usually end with man as the victor. So, Rakuah, what I'm kind of picturing just from this description is kind of like a satyr, but instead of goat legs, it's like dog legs.
Okay, yeah, I could definitely see that, for sure.
In Inuit lore, they are often portrayed as in conflict with humans, and are supposed to be taller than Inuit and white people. In some stories, they are cannibals. Inuit from Labrador use the term Adlet. Tribes west of the Hudson Bay use the word Kiglet. The monstrous race begotten by the Adlet was identified with inland Native Americans by the Labrador and Hudson Bay tribes. Inuit from Greenland and Baffinland, which had no Native American neighbors, used the term to refer to the half-human, half-canine creatures. Let's see. So, an etymology of the word is proposed by H. Newell Wardle. Adlet might come from ad, meaning below, and thus denote those below. Alternatively, he argues it might come from the stem agdlak, or striped, streaked, thus the striped ones. In reference to American Indians who lived to the west and painted their faces, Kiglet might be a derogatory term, denoting the same people. Atlat means others, denoting American Indians from the Inuit perspective. Though Newell Wardle, oh yeah, I just read his name. I just now caught on to the uniqueness of it. Considers this possibility secondary and deriving from phonetic similarity. Okay. So the origin of the peoples. Franz Boas, an anthologist who recorded many Inuit stories, gives an account of the origin of the Adlet. He had heard the story in Baffinland, specifically in Cumberland Sound, from an Inuit named Pakak. Please, please, friends, do not take that clip out of context. I've got this one friend. Rakuah has the same friend that I know would take that one clip out of context.
Just make sure he's not on the Steam.
Yeah. Oh man, that makes me scared now. Okay. His transcription, a translation by H. Rink, and an explanation by Boas were published in the Journal of American Folklore in 1889. The Inuit of Greenland, according to Rink, tell the same story as those in Baffinland. The story is often referred to as the girl and the dogs on the west coast of Greenland. On the east coast of Greenland, it is known as the origin of the Kaktlanate and Erkiglit. Boy. Okay. Also, just real quick, I apologize. If I keep looking over here, it's because I have a dog now. I have a little puppy.
So cute. Oh my goodness.
His name is Paul.
Oh.
Okay. I could have sworn he just went to the bathroom, but no, he's okay. He sits on this desk next to me, and so he helps me code. Okay. Sorry about that total sidetrack there. So, let's see. East coast of Greenland, the origin of the Kaktlanate and the Erkiglit, that is Scandinavians or Nordic people. Oh, buddy. You just about did a Peter Pan off the desk. And Indians.
Oh.
A woman, Nivyar Siang, the girl, lives with her father, Savarkon, but will not marry, and hence is also called... Oh, come on. I don't even
And
know.
these words are,
These words do not like me.
nope.
Alright. Oh, and is called Winigumissuitung. She wouldn't take,
Nailed it.
or meaning she wouldn't take a husband. See, how hard is it to
Okay.
say that? Why can't we just say that? That's just my.
You can just say
ignorant
the
American
girl
tongue.
and then she wouldn't take a husband.
Yeah, the girl who wouldn't marry.
The girl. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this story. This is an awkward story, so if you guys want to actually leave for like 10 or 15 minutes, you'd probably dodge this whole story. But it is uncomfy, and I must say, it goes against biblical beliefs, but the story is technically supposed to be important for Inuit and Alaskan lore, so
Okay.
we're gonna go with it. After rejecting all her suitors, she marries a dog. Lear Kang with white and red spots. And of their 10 children, 5 are dogs and the others are adlet, with dogs' bodies for their lower half and man's bodies for their upper half. Since
Okay.
Lear Kang does not go hunting and the children are very hungry, it falls to Savar Kong to provide for the noisy household. So far what I'm gathering is the girl didn't want to marry a guy, so she marries a dog. And apparently the dog is like good for nothing. So now the dad has to be the one who goes hunting. So
Okay.
it's kind of ironic that she didn't want a guy, and then she got a dog that did less than even what dogs do.
The guy is actually providing. That's crazy.
Yeah. I feel like this is one of those would you choose a bear or a man situations.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a whole other can of worms I'm not going to open right now. So, okay, so the dad starts to provide. At last, he puts them into a boat and carries them off to a small island, telling Lier Kang to come and get meat daily. So Lier Kang is the dog. Apparently, this dog is like super intelligent because it understands full
English.
sentences
Or-
and
Yeah.
apparently can enter into marital contracts. So this is a very special dog.
Yeah. It signed that paper, man. I'm telling you
yeah.
right now, it signed that paper.
It had to. It had to have.
It did it with cursive too. It had the point in it.
Yeah. Nivyar Siang. Okay, what? Oh, this is the girl. Hangs a pair of boots around his neck, and he swims ashore. But Savor Kong, instead of giving him meat, puts stones in the boots, and Lier Kang drowns. In revenge, the girl sends the young dogs over to gnaw off her father's feet and hands. He, in return, kicks her overboard when she happens to be in his boat. And, oh my gosh. And when she hangs on the gunwale, he cuts off her fingers, which, when they fall in the ocean, turn into whales and seals.
What on earth?
Yep. So that's the story of Nivyar Siang. Since Nivyar Siang, I'm probably saying this whole thing wrong, but I'm just going with it, is scared her
You're doing
father
better than
might
me, so.
is scared her father might kill the Adlet, she sends them inland, and from them a numerous born springs. Oh wait, a numerous people springs. The young dogs she sends across the ocean in a makeshift boat, and arriving beyond the sea, they become the Scandinavian ancestors.
Oh, interesting.
So that's very interesting. So let's see. There's some anthropological interpretation here, which does tend to get, honestly, very interesting. It starts to talk about, like, the translation of what the story is about. That it's not a literal story, but it's like a parable or a myth.
Okay.
So it goes on to say, sorry. One interpretation of the phenomenon of the Adlet and the theme of the dog husband sees the difference between the dog-like children and the other. The Adlet is crucial. The dogs are sent overseas and will return as white Scandinavians to bring things favorable to the Inuit, whereas the Adlet are the swift runners of an aggressive disposition, become a kind of inland spirit to be kept at bay. Thus, the dog husband myth carries the value of a cargo cult by offering their certain favors to the dog-like whites, aka the Nords. The Inuit daughters serve as mediators in obtaining their desirable goods. A reading of the account as a whaler myth and the culture in which the Inuit were economically dependent on the mechanically superior products supplied by the Scandinavian whalers, the story transforms material dependence on the white whaler into a reciprocal relationship, whereby the Scandinavian Nord comes back to repay his mother. So, the second translation, or I guess the translation itself of the story, is saying that the Adlet are kind of the offspring of sin, and that the dog husband, they are actually referring to the Nords, saying that basically they're good for nothing despite what they promise. And then it went back to that the dogs, became the Scandinavians, who were good, it seems. Let's see. Economically dependent on the mechanically superior products supplied by the Scandinavian whalers. Yeah, it turns the dependency on the Scandinavians into a reciprocal relationship. And not so much that the dogs were evil, but that the dog husband and the atlets were evil.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it seems to be a tale, from what I'm reading, seems to be a tale of like, listen to your father, and like, not all children born of sin are evil.
Yeah.
It seems to be how I'm reading it. What are you thinking of this very strange story?
I think that it could be along the lines of that as well, because, like you said in the last, I guess, video that we've done, in part one, a lot of these stories depend on, listen to your parents, because this evil stuff would happen to you. And that's like a lot of the stories turned into nightmare bedtime stories, just so then kids could stay in their homes or do something like that. So I could see that it could be along the lines of stay, or like the father was like the good figure, I guess you could say, in that aspect.
Okay. Cool. Okay. It looks like there's one or two other descriptions here. I'm gonna read through them real quick, and then you can read the story of the Tornet and the Atlet.
Okay.
Franz Bose and Heinrich Rink offer two options for the occurrence of a legend explaining the origin of whites, aka Nordic people. Either the tradition dates back to when the Inuit first made contact with Scandinavians, which they consider highly unlikely, or more likely, it is the adaptation of an already existing tradition, modified to account for the coming of the Scandinavians, aka Nords. Signed Rink proposes a similar explanation and hypothetical historical narrative that also takes linguistic evidence into account. The dog husband theme is parallel in other tribal mythologies. The Dakel, formerly known as the Carrier tribe, the indigenous people of the inland of British Columbia, tell a number of similar stories. In one of those stories, a woman suspects she is being violated nightly and throws a little bag of vermilion paint on the violator. The next day, she identifies him as a big dog, and later gives birth to 4 dogs. Okay, that's a horrible story.
Yep.
Father Maurice, writing about this and other stories he had been told by the Carrier people, posits that there might be a sort of national tradition among the Hyperborean races of America, since even the Eskimo have a story which is evidently the equivalent of it, proceeding to summarize the account as given by Franz Bose in the Central Eskimo. Similar stories both about the Adlet and the woman who marries a dog are told on the Siberian side of the Bering Strait, among the Chukchi. So, it seems like there's a lot of tribes that have this story that seem to have never met. That's what I'm kind of reading it as. It's
Yeah, no,
it's
I could agree.
it's such a strange and just kind of sinful story, but it, with the fact that so many different tribes have a story that is relative to each other, it almost sounds like there was at least an incident of maybe bestiality or something that really caused tribes to lock in on a tale of morality, of like, make sure that your daughters marry good men, or make sure that they stay away from dogs. Not even like literal dogs, but it's just kind of how I'm catching on to it.
No, I could agree with that. It's there does seem to be a lot of this. It's like you're reading the same story but in a different context with the tribes, basically.
Yeah. So it's a pretty disturbing story. So
Well, yeah.
let's move to the tale of the Tornet and the Adlet. Maybe we'll find
Okay.
some correlation, and maybe there's tale of like the actual Adlets, because this whole story is focusing on the girl and the analogy of the dog. But so many people have stories about so many people have stories about the Adlets. I want to know about them, about the half dog people. Like they kind of brush that off. So, go ahead and give us the story of the Tornet and the Adlet.
Okay. I apologize for my pronunciation in advance. Okay, so the Tornet and the Adlet. Many tales were told by the Smith Sound Eskimo, an Inuit from Smith Sound who was in New York City in the winter of 1897 through 1898, and published by A.L. Kroeber, I'm assuming, for the Journal of American Folklore. Two Tornets, another fabulous race. I like the word fabulous in that.
Pretty
Race
fancy.
from Inuit lore. Yeah, they went fabulous route on
It's,
that.
especially considering like the origin of the Tornets and like what we know of them already. Fabulous is not the
That's
term
just
I would use for them.
they're just putting it out there. Maybe they're trying to like lure people in on the Tornet or something.
Oh, that makes sense. Tornet
You
propaganda.
gotta think like that. There you go. Um, Hornets find themselves among savage and cannibalistic Adlet. They sneak out at night, and as they are leaving, they cut the thongs of the Adlet sledges that fasten the crossbars to the runners. The dogs start barking, but as the Adlet mount their sledges, the runners fall off, and the Tornet gets away. The same Smith Sound Eskimo also told a variant of the Adlet story related by Boaz and the Central Eskimo. In this version, the Tornet of the woman's offspring as well. Oh, sorry. The Tornet are the woman's offspring as well. But Krober, I'm gonna go with that. Krober remarks that they are ordinarily not connected with this tale. Other stories told by the Smith Sound Eskimo, such as the origin of the narwhal, also contain, I don't know if I can say that word on YouTube.
I think that word's okay.
Adlet. Okay, murderous Adlet then. I know there's one word that I can't say, but
Yeah, yeah. There's like technically two words we're not supposed to say, but we're also not sponsored yet, so we're okay.
okay, but okay.
All right, so
You can just never be too careful with YouTube.
no, yeah, yeah. All right, so Tornets. We're not given a lot here. I mean adlets. Sorry,
Mm-mm.
we're not given a lot with adlets. So when it comes to categorization, I almost just don't want to include it. Like,
There's not enough information, I feel like.
yeah, I'm going to categorize it on not enough info.
Okay.
And maybe one day we'll do a whole video where we come back and we look over creatures that are categorized as not enough info. Maybe we can find something
Okay,
else
yeah.
later.
Yeah, that would be good.
Let's see. I think Paul might be doing the pee-pee dance.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I'm trying to type something. Give me a second. I'm gonna ask Perky Panda if she'll come get Paul real quick.
You gotta get the wifey to come in for backup.
Okay. Next creature, the Tijaruk. Okay, yeah, this one has 2 different articles on it. Do you want to read its wiki real quick?
Yeah, that's fine. There's not a lot involved.
Yeah, there's 2 websites for the Tijaruk.
Okay.
Buddy, you gotta give me a second.
Nope, you're good. Did you get him taken care of?
No, he's. I'm waiting for Panda to see your text. We're good. Go ahead.
Okay. The Inuit religion, the Tijaruk is a mythical large serpent-like creature that is said to inhabit the waters near Key Island, Alaska. It is said to have a 2-meter, which is 6.6 feet, because this is America for us. Head and tail with a flipper. The local Inuit claim that it has snatched people off piers without their noticing its presence. I want to say that says without them noticing its presence. It is also called Paw-Ryu, said to be similar to Naitaka of the Okanakins. No, there's not an I in that. Okanakins. That sounds right. Oh gosh.
Agapoko.
I
The Heitlick. Yeah.
Yeah, Heitlick.
And the of the what?
Of the no.
There you go.
No. Nachas no. It's here. Gosh dang!
I love reading over Alaska's stuff.
Move on from Alaska. We need to move on from Alaska.
What are you talking about? You used to live there. You can't pronounce these?
I lived there when I was like 3 years old. You cannot put this on me. To remind people from the first video, the reason I am called what?
Do what?
Reason why I'm co-streaming, even though I'm not streaming, but I'm also here. The reason why I'm here is because I am a zoology major for one, but also Grizz told me that he wanted me on the stream because I was in Alaska originally. But I was 3 years old. I lived there for 5 years, so I did not know a lot.
That's
but
right.
I am still here, and I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, the main reason I wanted you here is because you're a good commentator and you're a good person to bounce ideas off of, and you're studying zoology, so you add in something that I can't do, and I just thought that the fact that you would be coming in on the Alaska subject was interesting. So
Okay,
I don't expect you to know all of this. I'm more so just find it interesting that you used to live there.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great time, and I do have some memories there. Anchorage, Alaska. That's where I'm from. That's right there.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
But I am very happy that I am here.
Yeah. Okay, so just real quick, I forgot we do have a world map. And
ooh, I like world maps.
These are the places. Let's see if it'll take us there. Where they said that the adlets. Yeah. They said that the adlets supposed. Oh, that's Tornet, sorry. So one of the places of the adlets is in Greenland. Supposedly.
Oh, interesting.
And then another place is further north in Canada, in the Hudson Bay region.
Okay.
And then one more further towards Newfoundland and Labrador. So,
And are these like singular places or just places that they've been seen or something?
Supposedly these were native tribes that used to live in these regions that had the stories of the adlets.
Okay.
And
gotcha.
The reason that they are included in these stories, in the Alaskan stories, is because this whole upper area would have been like the Inuit tribes and the what were the tribes that they said? Let's see. The Inuit tribes and the tribes that would be in like Baffinland, Greenland, all relatively related, but you know,
Okay.
a lot of this would be the Alaskan region. So, yeah. So if you guys out there, if you live in these regions, you got some half dog, half human spirits near you, just letting you know. Okay, so the Tizharuk, the serpent giants. It's okay. Thank you, though. Perky Panda wanted to know if I wanted Paul back, and I think he misses his brother, our other dog, Bentley.
Aww.
So, let's see. We're going to move on to the next portion of the Tizharuk. So the portion that you just read, Rakuah, describes this creature.
Okay, yep. I see.
Which, in my mind, I'm immediately thinking, like, leopard seal.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think that they... Oops, no, I don't want to share it. They're calling it a sea serpent. So, the Tizharuk is a sea serpent reported from the subarctic coastal waters of King and Nunivak Islands in the Bering Sea, off the Pacific Ocean coast of Alaska. Relationships between the Tizharuk and the Wasgo, which I don't know what that is, Sisiutl, stellar sea ape, and Caborosaurus have been considered, and several cryptozoologists support the theory that it may be a pinniped, a northern hemisphere counterpart to the Arctic sea leopard seal. There we go.
There you go.
It is usually
nailed it.
Synonymous with the Palrayuk. So what's a pinniped?
A pinniped?
Yeah.
That is a great question. Oh,
that like
okay, wait, hold on. Pinniped it's actually just like basically seals.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's probably, I don't know if it's like I don't know if it's like the family name or no, it has to be the family name because does it end with AE?
Let me see. I
can look at it. I was looking at it. Yeah, I was looking at the Wasgo because you said that, and I was just gonna see what it was, but I
Yeah.
didn't have the doc up. Sorry.
You're good. I was actually just now looking at Bosco too.
Oh. So does it end with AE?
Does the creature's name end with AE?
The pinniped. Oh no, it ends with PED.
Yeah.
Let me. Okay, it is seals. I don't know. I thought it was a part of. It is seals though.
Okay.
Yes.
That's cool.
I just looked it up. I just wanted to make sure it was right because usually family names end with AE, and so I didn't know if that was
Okay.
right or not.
That's cool. So, do you think pinniped like plays off of the term like a biped, like a creature that walks on two legs?
I could. Two legs. I mean, like they have two. Because if it's a seal, definitely see it being something similar to that. Because biped is definitely. Yeah, I could see it like two hands or like fins or something, not 2 feet, like biped, but
No,
two
yeah.
hands or. I could see that. Yes.
Well, I mean, like, do you think pinniped means something like 2 fins and 2 feet, or 4 fins?
I could see that. I'm not really sure,
Yeah.
but
This, I mean, technically, this category is probably one you're not really focusing on, considering as everything to do with Arctic mammalia.
So, like a little context for and everything, and you yourself. We actually do not have a limnology or ichthyology professor currently right now, and I have no access to any kind of like marine life animals. So, unfortunately, marine life is not my major kind of focus because we don't have any. I can't take any of those classes, and I'm graduating this semester. So.
Okay. All right. Cool. Cool. So, let's see. I was looking at some of these other things as well while you were looking up some stuff.
Okay.
And there's some interesting ones here, like Stellar's sea ape. It's literally just like a mermaid if it was an ape.
Oh, I just clicked on it.
Yeah, I think it's okay to show.
Wild.
So this is the Stellar sea ape, reported from the Bering Sea in the Gulf of Alaska by George Wilhelm Steller on the 10th of August, 1741.
That's wild.
It has also been observed in 1965.
Oh, okay.
So it's been seen twice. It doesn't say who the second person is.
5 foot long animal, reddish color, tapering body, a dog-like head. That is an ape-like head. I'm sorry, that is an ape-like head.
That is just a straight up baboon.
Yeah,
now
it looks like a baboon.
Yeah. Okay, I was about to say maybe it's like the news article, running with a description, but it underneath the image says illustration of Stellar's sea ape by Harry Trumbore. So
Harry Trumbore.
Yeah, I wonder if this is still like some crazy embellishment that was in like.
There's more. There's another photo that's a description of Stellar Sea Ape by Philippe Condry or something like that.
Philippe
Condry?
Condry, maybe?
Condry, yeah.
Des Animaux Cachés. Okay.
Oh, there's
See, that's
more.
a lot more
Oh, there's
believable.
kind of another one. Yeah. Theories and stuff like that. Yeah, I could see. And it looks like it has like the sighting description.
Yeah. It sounds like it was just a deformed seal.
It really does.
That's
I mean,
funny.
that's what it kind of looks like, except for the fact that the one has a lot of freaking hair on it. That. But I mean, hey, that is also a possibility. It could be deformed, and I mean, I could see that too.
And then the
Anyway,
Wasgo, also known as the sea wolf, sea serpent, and lake monster in the belief of Haida people of the Queen Charlotte Islands, British Columbia, and Canada. Commonly depicted in Haida artwork as a combination of whale and wolf. It has been seen by some cryptozoologists as an ancient Haida expression of encounters with Cadborosaurus wilsey, and has sometimes been synonymous with other Pacific Northwest sea serpents, such as Tijeruk is one of them.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay. So kind of a short bunny trail, but it all tied in together. I think I've read the Cadborosaurus before. This one
I looked at
has
photos
a
of
photo.
it. That thing is wild.
Of what? Of which one?
The Cadborosaurus
Yeah.
of it is actually. Wait, is that a real photo? Wait,
There's
hold
an
on.
actual photo here.
There's an actual photo, yeah.
It looks like maybe a head, or maybe like a what's it, like a
It's a
collarbone?
very long body.
Yeah. I wonder if this is like, well, let's read the description real quick. I'm very intrigued by this.
Okay, side quest now.
Oh yeah.
We've opened it.
When we find a cryptid that has an actual photo, I'm so much more interested.
Just
Okay.
shove everything aside. We are now focused. This is our main mission.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's still, in the British Columbia, northwest of Alaska, so we're still in the right place.
Yeah, it works.
We're good. We can work with this. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to make sure that everybody can also see this. Let's see. Stellar Sea. Sorry, I'm getting there.
No, you're good.
Here we go. I think this will let everybody see it now. There we go. Okay, so Caddy, or Amy for the supposed females, is a name given to sea serpents reported mainly from the Salish Sea and the Pacific Ocean coast of Vancouver Islands in western Canada. The name is sometimes applied more broadly to sea serpents, reported from all along the Pacific Northwest coast of Alaska, British Columbia, Washington, and Oregon. Although, different local names are used in some of these areas.
Okay.
Amerindian peoples of the Pacific Northwest believed in a number of sea monsters such as the Wasgo, Sisitol, this whole list, including the Tijeruk, bringing it all back, which some cryptozoologists associate with modern caddy accounts, except for a single possible sighting in the 18th century. European reports of sea serpents in the region began in the late 19th century around Vancouver and Seattle, and became more frequent over the decades until the name caddy was coined during a flood of accounts in 1933 and 1934. at which point published reports became regular and internationally known. Paul H. LeBlanc, Edward Bosefield, and John Siebert became its best-known investigators after beginning surveys during the 1970s, and sightings of sea serpents are still reported from the Salish Sea. Most recently, in 2019, alongside sightings, pieces of evidence cited in support of Cadborosaurus include an alleged juvenile specimen pulled from the stomach of a whale in 1937, a number of supposed baby sea serpents captured alive but then released, and a piece of semi-lost footage filmed in Alaska claimed to show a group of caddies. However, all of this evidence is highly controversial. So this photo turns out to be supposedly what they're calling a Cadborosaurus pulled from the stomach of a whale.
That's crazy.
So then, by just kind of looking at this bench, you know, a lot of benches tend to be like 5 feet long. And then they had to add 2 more boxes to lengthen it. And so we're looking at maybe another foot tall box, foot tall, maybe foot and a half tall box. So 5, 6, 7.5, and then we can't even measure this part that's laying off the side. So this thing was like, theoretically, I could be completely wrong here, but I'm just guessing. This thing looks like it's about 7 to 8 feet long.
I would honestly probably say that thing looks larger than that. The thing is gigantic.
Yeah. This is crazy. So, theoretically, if it's not a sea serpent, what would you see this as?
So, let me see if I can get a closer look at the photo.
Because I'm trying
so the
not
thing
to
is
just run away with it, but I can't help but think sea serpent.
I mean, it looks more like a sea serpent. The only thing that's really like throwing me off of like it being a sea serpent is the way the face is shaped, and that it does go higher up on the neck, because many people could probably just say, well, they're sea snakes, but sea snakes are generally the size of land snakes. However, there are some land snakes that go a very, very large size. So there could always be the possibility that there's just a crazy huge sea snake out there. However, the way that this thing had kind of like how its life ended is because that it's his skull is connected to his I guess vertebrae. It sets higher than what a snake would. And so like snakes can like, easily, just like put its head up and everything like that. But whenever a snake's life ends, you don't see its head up. So that's the only thing that's actually throwing me off. Because there's many things that are like really, really long looking fish or something like that, like the oarfish. The oarfish can get huge.
Oh yeah.
But again, that's a fish, and unless like underneath its face or something like that, something was just like cut off or anything, and it's just throwing the photo off. But to me, it seems like this thing, it's not connected the same as a snake or an oarfish is. So I have no idea. It definitely looks more like a sea serpent to me.
I was looking up something over here, and the longest modern snake is the modern sea snake is the Hydrophis spiralis, which can get up to about 10 feet long.
Okay, so they could get pretty big then.
Yeah. But the largest sea snake ever to exist was Paleophis colossius, which was over 30 feet long.
Oh, that's crazy to me.
So,
I'm looking them up now. Now I'm
yeah.
curious.
So, which side do you think is the head?
I'm thinking that the head is. Let me look at it again. See, I was thinking that the head was the right side.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find. I wonder if there is. I wonder if we can get a better photo of it.
Yeah. This is cool. I didn't know we would actually be seeing
'Cause,
a photo here.
yeah, it looks like. I mean, there's obviously photos that were made. Okay, there's something. Okay, there's another photo. It looks like it's the same thing, and it does look like that is the head
Okay.
portion of it. And I guess you can see that. Is that something? Is there something underneath it that's holding the head up, or is it just? It doesn't look like it from that photo, but from this photo, maybe. It
The
doesn't
photo
look like there's anything holding up the head. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say the photo I'm looking at. It almost looks like there's like a. Let me see if it'll let me. It won't let me expand it very much more. It almost looks like there's either like I don't know, like a wheel or maybe a box handle that's holding the head up just a little bit.
It it looks like that. So I'm wondering if it is something because I'm looking at another photo and it looks like there is another photo of this certain serpent, whatever it is, um, that is the same thing. If you look that up, I just looked up the name of it, the scientific name of it. Um, but it looks like there may be something underneath it, which if they put something underneath the head to give it an elevated look, that could change things. But I don't know because the tail is also throwing me off. The tail is throwing me
Yeah,
off too. All of
yeah,
it's throwing me off because the tail looks like there's almost hair on it.
yeah. It. I'm wondering if that's like, if it's a maybe decaying flesh, because they said they found it in the stomach of a whale.
That's true. That is true.
But I mean, some sea serpents, and I could be wrong about this, but don't some like modern sea snakes at the end of their tail kind of like frill out almost like a fish tail, like a paddle?
Some some of them do, but usually whenever it frails out, in it's an up and down. It's not like a it's an up and down. It's not side to side that frails out basically. I think
Okay.
at least.
So do you think that that tail is? I mean, it's kind of hard to speculate because the whole thing's a dead snake that's kind of laying far away from the camera. But
Yeah.
do you think if the tail was like paddle shaped, that it would be like up and down?
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well,
This is a cool subject.
yeah. This is interesting for sure. I definitely have to look at it more because I'm looking at different photos and stuff like that.
Okay.
And
When
obviously, most of them are like created by something or someone or something like that. But the two real photos, I don't know, that head and tail is really throwing me off.
yeah, I'm gonna read this last paragraph of the snake while you're looking up
Yeah,
stuff. So,
absolutely.
discounting hoaxes and mistaken identity, it is suggested that swimming moose could account for a number of sightings. Don't know how that works, but okay. Whether or not reports refer to the same kind of animal is debated by cryptozoologists. Bernard Heuvelmans, that's a fake name, arguing that the name was a geographic term only, classified caddy reports as both mer horses and long necks. So, Bernard Heuvelman is arguing that the name was a geographic term only, and he's trying to classify caddy reports as both mer horses and long necks. Long necks as in like sauropods? Both giant pinnipeds. I'm gonna click on this link of what they're calling a long neck.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so weird. So they're not talking about sauropods. They're talking about like long-necked seals. So the long neck is a type of sea serpent and lake monster appearing in most sea serpent classification systems. The long neck is the most commonly reported sea serpent, and alongside the humped sea serpent, one of the best known, although it is not known to be explicitly reported prior to the 19th century. Oh, weird. Alright.
There's a lot to unpack on this one.
Yeah, there's a lot more to Alaskan cryptids than I thought. This might turn into a part 3. Okay. Before we get too, out there, we're gonna keep going with our regularly scheduled program.
Okay.
So, Tijeruk.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let's get back to Tijeruk. Okay, so some accounts of the Tijeruk. Accounts of the Tijeruk were collected from the inhabitants of King Island by ethnologist John White, who communicated his information to Roy P. Mackle. The locals had a taboo regarding the Tijeruk and told White that hunters have been killed by the animals. According to White, the name Pal Rayuk was used for the same animal on Nunivak Island. In 1983, Mackle referred to more recent information concerning unknown marine animals in the Bering Sea. Some Coast Guard personnel stationed nearby told him that the animals were present in the area, but were rare, and that the local Eskimos, quotations, who attached mythical and religious significance to them, were afraid of them. One of Mackle's contacts reported that, quite recently, a woman had been killed by one of the animals, which had capsized her boat. The islanders claimed that only the head and neck, and occasionally the tail, of the Tijeruk have been observed. Its general form is therefore unknown, although it can allegedly rise out of the water to a height of 7 to 8 feet. Its head is snake-like and its tail is flippered. The Tijeruk was usually reported from bays, less commonly from the open ocean. The islanders feared the animals but claimed to be able to attract them by tapping on the insides of the boats. The Tijeruk has also been described as a giant caterpillar or worm-like animal. So, it really sounds like the Tijeruk and that last creature we were just talking about, the Cadborosaurus, are actually really closely related.
It looks like it, actually. I
Mhm.
mean, just by the way that it's shaped too in the photo.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So, it could just be that we haven't read a ton, but I'm not seeing anything
True.
that's discounting this creature. It's not making it sound supernatural. It's not giving anything that's like, and it's the son of a god. It's
Yeah.
just,
It's actually a little normal.
yeah, this is probably the first, um, what's it? Alaskan cryptid that sounds like an actual, just regular animal.
Hmm.
So, with Tijeruk, I think it's safe to say it's a possible animal, and there's no evidence of it being proven to be extinct.
So the biggest thing about it is I definitely could say that it would probably be a possible animal and just not proven to exist only because there's not a lot of evidence, but it sounds reliable. Not only that, understand that the ocean has not been as discovered as many other things.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that is something that people do not consider in a lot of different things because the ocean, what was it? Last time I checked, it was like only 8% was discovered. I think it went up to 10 or something like that.
Oh, that's good. Last I heard, it was 4%.
I have no idea. I'm gonna look it up.
Okay. Yeah. It
But
really
it
seems like.
sound
Go ahead.
oh oh no, it's 5%. That's crazy.
Okay. Well,
5%. Yeah.
numbers up from what I thought, so that's good.
I don't know where I heard 10%. That's crazy.
Maybe they were
I'm more
talking about
shocked by that
space.
than
Yeah. Anything
but
that
yeah,
has to do
I
with the
think
sea and like it
uh-huh.
not being supernatural, my mind immediately goes to like, I probably believe it.
Yeah. And a big part of me is like me being a zoologist, or like trying to be a zoologist at least. I try and think of the context of so whenever you make a hypothesis, you want to make a hypothesis and then try and disprove that belief. That's my
Mm,
mentality is I try and disprove as much as I can. And obviously I'm not going to take in context of like, yeah, well, they don't have enough evidence of this and they don't have enough like that. Like, obviously, if there is not enough evidence, yeah, for sure. But I'm not going to disprove it immediately because of lack of evidence. I'm going to try and find a way to disprove it. Marine animals are such a hard and tricky kind of way of that because there's only 5% of the ocean discovered, and
yeah.
I'm not a marine biologist, so
Yeah. So Tijeruk looks like it's off the coast of British Columbia, and
hmm.
they're saying a lot of the stories of its sightings are within bays. So that means it'd probably be further in like uh Haida Gawai, which I think they mentioned Haida in
Yeah,
the story. Uh, yeah, these archipelagos, probably all along this area, if they're just calling it the Gulf of Alaska. Interesting.
yeah, they may just be creatures that like are deeper in the water that we haven't discovered and occasionally come up to more of a surface level and rarely get spotted or something.
Yeah, that's crazy. The sea is like, I don't know. For a long time, I had thalassophobia, fear of the open ocean.
Hmm.
And like,
Very common, yes.
I still feel like I kind of have that, but I've not been in the open ocean yet. I just know every time I've seen, like, Nat Geo videos about it, I hold my breath. I cringe every time. It always freaks me out.
No, I think that is a very common thing, and I always tell people, I mean, NASA originally tried to discover the ocean, and then they turned around and went to space instead because
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but obviously something happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a couple of topics about the deep sea that I want us to cover eventually. Because like
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
there's one about it's called I think they called it the underwater ocean. There was a point in which the submarine could not go any deeper because the water's density was thicker than regular water. And they said they could even see things floating on the surface of this denser water. And
Mm-hmm.
it's trippy. It's so trippy. I wanted to, and then there's always that conspiracy theory that the guy who found it, he actually died relatively soon after he found it. So there's that conspiracy theory too. So we're going
Yeah.
to move forward with Liamna Lake. Let's see. I think it's because there is a sea monster and Lake Iliamna.
I am going to correct myself on this because I always was told that NASA originally explored the sea. That is actually a false statement. I just discovered that.
Oh, okay. They've
Yeah,
always been space.
it has always been space. Well, it said atmosphere and space.
Okay.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they had some dabbling in that, but they never originally was discovering the ocean. That was not them. So I know that that is a very popular statement. So I'm going to, and I believed it. So I just got curious and wanted to see. So I'm going to correct myself that that is actually a false statement. So.
All right. We all heard it here. Maybe not first, but you heard it here. NASA did not discover the ocean first. They've always been space. That's cool.
I shouldn't say discovered the ocean because
they turned
they
around,
never explored the ocean.
They saw it there and they were like, "What? There's a whole ocean there."
It was NASA. The whole the whole entire crew just walked up and was like, "What is this?"
NASA was like started off as all the merchant sailors.
Yeah.
They were like, "This isn't just a big lake. This thing keeps going."
Was it just yeah, that would be crazy. That would be honestly crazy.
It was a guy named John Ocean discovered the oceans.
John Ocean. There you go.
Okay. So, Lake Iliamna. This place keeps showing up every time we talk about creatures.
Oh, it's the same place?
It's the same place. Same place as the Tornets, the hairy man. And now there's a sea monster in it called Illy. So, let's see. Local residents have a number of stories about the alleged Iliamna Lake monster. An unknown aquatic creature. Speculation exists that reported sightings may be of an undocumented population of white sturgeon. If true, this would be the most northerly population known to exist, just a few hundred miles from the Arctic Circle. Jeremy Wade, presenter of Animal Planet's River Monsters, love that show, is among those who speculate these sightings of a reputed monster, air quotes, are of a white sturgeon. Others believe that this Pacific sleeper shark, that it is a Pacific sleeper shark.
That's
Um,
interesting.
Proponents of this theory point to a 2012 YouTube video that shows a smaller Pacific sleeper shark in King Cove Lagoon, King Cove, Alaska. There were several new supposed sightings in 2017. The Anchorage Daily News once offered a prize of $100,000 for concrete proof of its existence.
So I say that we go there.
I
Not
like this
because of the
plan.
mention of money, but just because,
I thought it was for the
someone's
exploration of
gotta pay off
cryptids.
my debt.
What, you don't think you're
Listen,
gonna be able to cover it all with your expansive money you'll get from zoology?
oh no, I'm not. Oh man, dude. With these jobs, I mean, they come flying in. It's not like they
Mhm.
disappear after 1 week of being posted.
No, yeah,
And then
yeah.
and living where we live now, and the amount of money we just get, that's
Oh
that's
yeah,
crazy.
comes
That's
pouring in.
I'm gonna be swimming in it. I'm gonna have a pool invested, and that pool
Dang.
will be filled with money. That's just how much.
There you go. There you go. Dream big. I know exactly how you feel.
Dream big.
I
But
originally
in another
started
note,
off
we should take a trip over there
for no reason specifically.
for no reason specifically.
I get what you're saying though. I mean, originally I was gonna go into worship ministry. There's not money
Uh,
involved with that really.
there's nobody involved with that. I'm sorry.
So, let's see. You want to read the story of the Iliamna lake monster? And then
Um,
we actually will also have a video of Jeremy Wade catching a giant sturgeon to kind of give us some context of what these creatures might look like.
okay. Do you want me to just read the intro?
Let me see real quick.
Because there's a bit.
Read the intro.
Well, that's all. That's all
Yeah,
evidence.
read the
That's all
intro,
evidence.
and then maybe we'll cover the sightings and theories. Because I think after this we
Okay.
have. Okay, I think after this we've got like 3 or 4 monsters still.
Okay. So the Iliamna lake monster, also known as Illy to many locals. Oh, here we go. Ghana Cadet in
Hey.
Tlingit or Gig Nag. I can't pronounce things. In Aleutian. Aleutian?
I'm gonna say it's either Aleutian or Aleutian.
I'm gonna. I mean, it's a TI, so I'm gonna say Aleutian.
Okay.
Is an aquatic cryptid reported to dwell in the small Alaskan fishing village in Iliamna. The natives' tale describe a large beast that roams the waters. The monster has many reported sightings, along with few reported to have caused deaths. Over the years, it has gained enough attention to lure the Animal Planet show Rivers Monsters in an attempt to find out what they may be hiding beneath the lake's water. The monster is reported 10 to 30 feet in length with a square-like head that is used to place blunt force onto things such as small boats. Although there is no physical evidence to prove the monster's existence, many reports beg to differ.
So I'll
Are we going
read.
to sightings?
Yeah, I'm gonna read this first paragraph here.
Okay.
The earliest reports of a monster living in the lake came from the native Tlingit people. who tells stories of a creature referred to as the Gona Cadet. It was described as a large water-dwelling animal with a head and tail similar to that of a wolf, and a body like an orca. Very similar to the Aklot, which I think we talk about that later. I think one or two monsters after this one. The Gona Cadet was depicted as a fish god and was recorded in pictographs along the Alaskan and British Columbian coasts. Other early reports of the monster came from the native Aleut people who tell stories of creatures they called the Jig-Ik-Nak. The fish-like monsters reported to travel in groups and attack canoes and kill warriors. The creatures were feared and not hunted by the Aleut. Go ahead and read the next paragraph. I'm going to look at the stories to see if any of these might be interesting to read over real quick.
Okay. This sparked interest in others as pilots and fishermen began to wonder what the creatures were. Many more sightings were reported as people began to fly low over the lake for the purpose of seeing these monster fish. Consistent reports of large, dull, aluminum-colored fish were coming in the late 50s. Soon enough, attention was brought to the subject that in 1979, the Anchorage Daily News, the state's primary newspaper, offered a sum of $100,000 to anyone who could provide conclusive evidence proving the fish's existence. The evidence is yet to be provided as sites have slowed in recent years. So no one has gotten evidence. So what I'm saying is that we go and get some evidence.
And these reports are pretty consistent.
Really?
Yeah. So, like,
1977.
I'm going to go ahead and read this one in 1942, which I think is the story that might have made all this famous.
Yeah.
So,
okay, the first one, yeah.
Yeah. Babe Ellsworth and Bill Hammersley were on a direct flight over the lake traveling to the village of Iliamna. Bush pilot Ellsworth, flying his Stinson ferry plane, was crossing over the deep, blue-black water where he noticed some unusual specks in the water near an unnamed island in the middle of the lake. As the craft moved closer to the specks, Ellsworth was able to see that these were actually giant fish, and he swirled the plane around for a closer look. Both Hammersley and Ellsworth were able to get a good look on the second pass and described what they saw as dull aluminum in color with heads that were broad and blunt. The width of their long tapered bodies was the same as that of their heads, and the vertical tails slowly moved side to side. This aspect of the description is important as whale tails go up and down, not side to side, while fish and reptile tails go side to side. Spiraling the plane down from 1,000 feet down to 300 feet to get a better look, they soon saw that Ellsworth's original estimate of the creature's length, 10 feet, was low. The several dozen giant fish were easily longer than the plane's pontoon, and according to the men, looked more like mini submarines than fish. They circled the area until the creatures disappeared in a surge of water. As the men continued on their journey, they discussed and debated over what they saw, pointing out that it could not have been a whale due to the tail movement and the fact that the creatures never surfaced for air. That's cool. I feel like you were going to say something earlier and I'm going to cut you off.
Oh, no, I wasn't. I kind of got Cheez-It or goldfish. That was about it. I said Cheez-Its first because I always think of Cheez-Its, but I got flavor blasted extra cheddar goldfish. I wanted to say Cheez-Its again.
That's epic. We just got ice cream earlier today, so I'm gonna have some of that after we get done.
You didn't call me over, dude.
I'm sorry, you live like 2 or 3 hours away.
It's 2.
Yeah. That's a 4-hour round trip.
I know, but ice cream?
That's true. I'll tell you what, next time we come up and visit, we'll bring some ice cream for you.
Well, you guys gotta visit before I graduate.
No, yeah, we will.
Okay. Cool.
At least we'll
We
try.
can get some. We can get some Italian food like that.
Heck yeah. Oh my gosh. I love that Italian restaurant so much.
Isn't it so good?
So good.
That was by far the best treat that you guys had coming here.
Oh, it was so good. Sorry, I'm derailing really bad. So,
Nope, you're good.
I kind of skimmed through these other stories, and almost all of them are about planes going over the lake and seeing large black fish with white stripe down its fin, and kind of reiterating the story of like their tails did not go up and down, they went back and forth. These things were longer than 8 or even 10 feet. And then, oh, this one sounds interesting, the 1967. We're going to read this one real quick. Do you want to read it? 1967?
1967.
Alaska missionary Chuck Crapuchete.
Okay. Crapachet.
I don't know how to say it, man.
Crapuchete.
Mr. Crap.
Okay. You don't think I would say that? Okay. So, 1967, Alaska missionary Chuck Crapuchetes has seen the monster twice. Okay.
Ooh.
Once he was flying over in a float plane and he saw a large animal in the water. He got on the radio and tried to call some other people around and try to see and verify it. There was a lot of ants in that.
Yeah, that was a lot of ants.
I can't mentally. Anyways, and verify it, but nobody got there in time. It was a lot of ants.
And then there was a comma. Tried to call some other people around and tried to see and verify it, but nobody got there in time.
I don't know who wrote this one, but wow, okay. Anyways, but nobody got there in time. One of his friends went trolling for it, one of his friends went trolling for it. He took a 5-16 stainless steel cable, put number 2 tuna hooks on it, baited them with caribou. Why am I overpronouncing things now? I'm overpronouncing things now. This is what Latin does to your brain. You can't read it. Caruba,
Jamaica. Ooh, I wanna
caribou, dude. People are gonna be watching this and they're gonna be like, "This girl is not a zoologist."
No, we're both college students. Give us some grace.
Yeah, Latin. Whenever you're a zoologist, you basically have to learn Latin. So, give me a little bit of a break.
You're learning Latin, and then I'm learning C++ coding, which is not even like English. So
we're both learning language
right
now. Baited them with caribou and tied it off on the struts of his float plane. He was drifting and sitting out on the floats when the plane gave a big jerk and knocked him off the float. The plane was towed off and he barely made it to shore. He walked for miles when the plane was towed around the lake. When he finally recovered his airplane, 3 of the cables were gone. The hooks on the one that remained were straightened out, and these hooks were 8 or 9 inches long. That's crazy. There has been beluga whales that have gone up the Kavachkik length of that thick river into the lake, and it's possible that that's where it was.
I don't think a beluga
They
whale would
basically-
straighten out a 9
yeah.
inch hook.
I don't know. But no. How big are beluga whales?
Beluga whales are pretty good size, but I mean, I would think that their skin or even their mouth would be rather fleshy, and that hooks would probably more tear
They
into
don't
them
really
than...
have like teeth and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
They have like the little jagged, so it would not stretch out. There's no way.
Unless the hooks dug into the beluga whale and like caught bone, I don't see these hooks straightening out.
The only thing I could really think of is some sort of like debris it caught on.
Yeah.
But that's it. And even then, I don't think that, because it's in the middle of the ocean or the lake.
Yeah, this is a lake.
It is a lake, which does change a little bit of things, but I don't know.
They're saying that beluga whale going up the river into the lake, they're saying it's possible. But like, that sounds like beluga whale being in the lake in the first place is not common.
Yeah, it looks like I think it's interesting that they actually did put something that it could have been, because not a lot of things do that. So I do like that they put that in there.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it could do that.
Yeah. And then that's just one account. All of these other accounts, they're all saying the same thing. Giant fish, mostly black, with white spots or white stripes going down it, and it looks like a dull aluminum color. All of these accounts say that.
Yeah. And not only that, I skipped ahead. I won't lie. I skipped ahead a little bit because I was already about to talk about the wild sturgeon theory.
Yeah.
Or the white sturgeon theory.
Yeah.
But
which, that's fair. The only thing is that, like, oh, here we go. The Marine Fisheries Commission says white sturgeon are the largest freshwater fish in North America and can weigh over 1,500 pounds and be 20 feet in length and live for over 100 years. So
it's crazy to me.
There's a good chance that Illy is just a gigantic sturgeon that's like bigger than record.
See, the thing that's throwing me off is that beluga whales obviously weigh a lot more than sturgeons.
Right.
For one thing. And so if we already debunked beluga whales for straightening a hook that big, I don't think a white sturgeon would be able to do that either then.
Even if it's like an ancient giant one? Because...
Well, if it's an ancient giant one, yeah, that may be different.
Yeah,
but
because these accounts are saying that the fish are like 30 feet long.
Okay. Yeah.
So let's give Jeremy Wade his time, and then
okay, yep,
we'll come back in.
It's not long before I get my next bite, and this one feels much bigger.
So much.
And this fish fish could be bigger than I am.
It is a good show.
When the fish wants to go, I'm letting it go,
I don't really
but
watch the
I'm
whole
letting
lot,
it
but
go
it's a good show.
under pressure. It's having to work for the line it takes away.
I've loved
And
watching
then when
this
the
show.
fish takes
It
a bit
gives
of a breather,
so much
I'm hoping, you know,
fuel
in those little
for
gaps,
my
I can
cryptozoology
gain a wee bit of line.
fire to burn. So I don't remember if it says where he is.
I think we might have to, might be an idea to cast off. Jack, I think it might help if we cast off. We're going, are we on our way? This is a long, long run. We're running out of line here.
The forest and glaciers of Alaska.
We just go quick. We're on the back.
So it is Alaska still.
Wait a minute,
Yeah.
wait a minute. See, have a look at this line. This is the backing.
I think I may have hooked a monster, but I'm running out of line.
So
That's the end of my line
theoretically,
there, off the reel. I
this
want to
is
get the
what
proper
the
line
Lake
back on
Erie
the reel.
monster is.
Right, there we are. We've got the line back on the reel here. That was hairy. I was just watching my line going. That line's coming up in the water.
It's coming
That's
out
the
of
fish. That's the
water.
fish. There it is. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Ah, I've seen
That
the fish now.
by itself matches
That
a
is
lot of the
certainly a big fish.
descriptions.
It's taken me half an hour to bring this
100%.
sturgeon in. Knowing that this is only around half the length they
Just
can grow
gets in
to,
the water
I
with
now
it.
totally believe that a larger one could drag a tree stump into the water.
That was a tiring fight. I've caught some big fish in fresh water. This is probably the biggest freshwater fish I've caught. About 300 pounds. This one. It's a real monstrous fish.
Holy
That's
cow!
actually 105 or even 106 inches. That's
It's a
8
big,
foot 10 inches.
giant
Nearly
sturgeon.
9 foot. Nearly 9
9
foot.
foot
this
10
fish.
inches.
It's quite a thought. That's 1.5 times me.
That's
At
crazy.
9 feet,
And they're
this
like-
fish is roughly 80 years old, but they can live to over 100.
They're like
This looks
armored
big in the water.
fish
But
too,
these things
almost
grow
like
to
gar.
20 foot, possibly even more. And I mean, just imagine
He
seeing
caught
that
it
in the
in
water. I mean, you
Alaska
could be
and the
forgiven for saying that was a
Columbia
monster.
River.
Up to
Okay.
20 feet long matches all the descriptions I've heard about the monster, including Robin's. Plus, the pectoral fins and the long, streamlined body fit how she described what she saw.
So you see that
But
black
what about
fish.
the teeth marks
It's
on
a
the
black
propeller?
fish with a white stripe down the back.
Just take a little look at the mouth here. Although it's, you could say it's predatory. It's eaten quite a large dead fish, but there's no teeth in there at all. I can put my hands in there. See, it's very telescopic. You can imagine that just extending and literally just sucking in a small fish.
Having only gums means it couldn't have been teeth marks on the propeller, but I think I know what caused them.
And what's interesting about a sturgeon, it hasn't got a bony skeleton the way we have or the way most other fish has. It's just got cartilage. But what it has got, it's got bony plates on the outside of the body, not totally covering it, but just in rows. And these are, some form of protection. They really are, sort of quite tough bits of bone. There we go. And also a very bony head, very bony gill flap as well.
I believe Bill Treffon's parents actually ran over a white sturgeon, and the propeller going over its bony plates caused what looked like teeth marks. It may not have any teeth, but this mouth is perfectly formed for being a bottom feeder, eating mollusks and small fish. This would explain why it is so rarely seen on Lake Iliamna or Lake Clark, because it spends
Iliamna.
most of its time in up to 1,000 feet of water.
That's the lake. That's the name of the lake.
Like
Yep.
I think I'm sold. What are you thinking? What are you thinking, Rakuah?
It seems like it. The only thing that's like throwing me off is, well, no, I could definitely see it if it's like some ancient giant white sturgeon. I could be there for it. I could be there for it.
Heck yeah. So, the idea of a cryptid is it's an animal that could possibly exist. And considering
Right.
we have documented white sturgeon that are older than or that are about 100 years old or older and can reach up to 20 feet long, I mean, if one of these can get up to like 30 feet long, that would basically match the description of the Lake Erie monster.
It not only that though, I think that the one thing that it's supposed to have the tail of like a whale, right?
Well, they said it
Or
was
am
a huge tail, but it swam sideways, not like a whale.
okay, okay, it was the opposite. So yeah, then that would make sense to me.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then, uh, let's see, square-like head that is used to place blunt force onto such as small boats. I
And
mean,
it
we
has a
saw right
bony
there.
head.
Exactly, exactly. It's got a very bony, almost like an exoskeleton for a fish.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's crazy. So, let's see. Lake Iliamna. Here we are again.
This place is sketchy. I'm
That's what I'm saying. This is a hotspot
This place is.
place.
We need to get our D&D crew and just go there.
Oh my gosh. Absolutely. I would love to be on Lake Iliamna.
Not because not because $100,000 is on the
I
line,
think
but
you're still there for the 100K.
No, I'm there for the friends.
Ooh.
What'd you find?
Oh, there's like some nice cabins there.
Hey, yo, if it's not a sign.
There's some like we're probably creeping on some of our like viewers' houses right now, but like there's the Talaric Creek Lodge. That
Okay.
place looks cool.
And it's Alaska,
Alright.
so you know it's gonna be so nice.
Oh, you know it. In the middle, or it juts out into Lake Iliamna.
Yeah, so I could like, I could be our night owl. I could look out.
Heck yeah. This would be such a cool adventure. I'll tell you what, if whenever Rakuah graduates and I'm making big money from game development, we'll just take the crew and we'll go to Lake Iliamna.
Oh my gosh, I'd be so down. 100%
That would be
down.
so fun. Okay, so we are gonna move on because we still have looks like 2 or 3 more monsters to go.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got 2 or 3 monsters to go.
I'm
So,
okay.
the Amakuk. This one's not super long. Oh, hold on. Wait a second. Our categorization. So, Lake Illy, definitely possible animal.
Yeah,
Just
I would definitely say
gigantic
possible.
white sturgeon, essentially. That's awesome. Okay, so Amakuk, the shapeshifter. Do you want to read this one?
Oh. Okay. I gotta sit up for this.
Music's a lot louder because I had adjusted for the YouTube channel, for the YouTube video.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Okay.
The shapeshifter.
So the shapeshifter. The Omikup. Is it Omikuk or Omikuk?
I'm not sure. Just go for it.
Okay, the Omikuk is a creature of Yupik legend said to live within the ground. Ooh, I'm already liking this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
As a shapeshifter, the Omikuk is said to take many forms and to behave differently dependent on where a person encounters them. In the sea, it is reported to be hairless with 4 arms. Its skin is leathery, and it will attack hunters in their kayaks, dragging them underwater to be eaten.
Epic.
I don't like the description. As it lives within the ground, Omikuk will pursue hunters onto land, swimming through the earth as easily as they swim through the water. Ooh. In its natural habitat within the earth itself, The Amikuk is said to turn the surface of a person. Turn the surface a person is walking onto. I'm sorry. Is
That's
said
okay.
to
That was a
turn the
confusing
surface.
sentence.
A person is walking. Yeah, that is really confusing.
Okay,
On
I see.
into quicksand. Okay,
It's kind of a.
that
It's
one's
almost a run-on sentence. It's
okay.
the Amakuk is said to turn the surface a person is walking on into quicksand. So so the
Okay.
sentence is making surface the subject, not person.
There is no commas. I see.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense because it should be surface, comma, a person is walking on,
Right.
comma, into quicksand by quickly swimming around them. That makes more sense. Okay, thank you.
That's a cool visual.
I had to reread it. Yes, it is a cool visual.
So someone's just walking,
I forgot.
and then suddenly the dirt starts revolving around them as if something is swimming around it in the dirt. That's cool. Turning it
Yeah,
into
because it
quicksand.
turns it into like a quicksand. That's crazy.
That's very specific. Just saying.
It is very specific. If a person is holding a walking stick, they will become tired as this is happening. The Amikuk will then swim upwards into the person themselves, making the person they now inhabit weak. An Amikuk may also jump through a person, okay, which causes them to lie down and die. That one's interesting. That one's interesting a little bit.
Is fascinating.
Jump through a person.
So this is sounding like a spiritual creature.
It's already giving a spiritual kind of essence,
Yeah.
I would say.
Either spiritual or like maybe interdimensional.
Yeah, because the quicksand vibe kind of thing is also throwing me off too.
Yeah. Go ahead and read the next paragraph.
Okay. The Amikuk can also take the form of a human, which it may do when it is tired, in quotations, tired of being Amikuk for a long time. In human form, the Amikuk may be referred to as a what? Ellerit.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, for sure. The Yupik elders describe coming across an Amikuk pulling a sled across the ice, which it can only do in a straight line. Oh, okay. If a person encounters an Amikuk in human form, they should sit down with their back to the creature and not speak to it. The Amikuk is then said to offer gifts of increasing value. The legends state that a person should be silent until the Amikuk has offered the person everything they need or everything that is on their mind. When the Amikuk is shot, it is said to multiply into 8 beings. What? The transitional, yeah, like what is happening now? The traditional Yupik mask representing the Amikuk by Aranaquit, I don't know, aka Philip John Sharrett, is a permanent display on the Portland Art Museum. Oh, I already want to look at that.
Almost done. I think I have an image ready for it.
Okay, cool.
Let's see.
There's a lot to unpack on this creature, though.
It's so specified.
It's super specified, but it has such a variety of things going on. It's very interesting for sure.
Yeah. So let's see. This looks like it is theorized to be what they're describing.
Okay. I see.
Kind of. Interesting. Okay. So, whenever stories tend to be like, oh, this is from the, you know, tribal tale of that guy who was out too late and he saw such and such. Like, that's when I tend to think, like, okay, this is probably just a folklore story. But this is, like, specifications on, like, how to interact with one. It's not giving a warning. It's just like, these things are out there, and this is what you should do if you see one. It almost feels like a warning of, like, a real animal, and not so much a warning of, like, for your soul.
Yeah. And the Yupik elders described coming across an Ambience pulling a sled across the ice, which it can only do in a straight line, is very specific as well.
Yeah. I wonder if it's talking about, like, you know, kind of like how they say, you know, it's ridiculous, but how they say demons get distracted. If you throw chickpeas out, they have to count all of them before they can do anything else. Like,
I have not heard that one before, but
yeah, it's in, like, Catholic lore. Same thing about, like, the pentagram.
okay.
Demons get trapped in it because it's a ever-continuing line. Or
Okay,
something like that, you know. I'm probably wrong about this, but, like, I'm wondering if they're saying this is a spiritual thing. Like, if it's given a task, it has to do it specifically because that's the laws that bind it. Or if it's like physically, it cannot turn while it's pulling something.
Yeah, I think what's really interesting about it is that it explains it being in the water and on land. And I'm over here trying to think, like, what is, because obviously it doesn't seem like there's like any stories so far, which you may have some stories already.
There's one that we're gonna read over that I don't know if it's a story or just more description. It looks like it's just more description.
Okay, well, we can read that, and then we can go more into the thought process of it too.
Okay, so the most common description of an Amakuk says that they have leathery, slimy skin and no legs. However, they have 4 arms, human-like arms, which are long and can stretch wide. Occasionally, they are said to be invisible.
Oh, interesting.
And, yeah, that wasn't mentioned in the last one.
Not at all.
So this is kind of giving either spiritual or interdimensional vibes already.
Yeah.
Amakuk masks are usually depicted with a ring of feathers around them, as this is uncommon for Yupik masks. It may suggest a sort of mane or frill. However, this is never included in oral or written depictions of them. So, this is the only mask, this is kind of what they're hinting at, this is the only mask that has feathers on it.
Yeah.
Or it says at least is uncommon. So there's definitely like a specification for the feathers that most masks don't have.
Okay. I see now.
Okay, we have written behavior. The most consistent description of the Amakuk states that they mostly live in the water, but can swim through the earth just as easily, leaving no holes as though they were digging. However, they make a thumping noise as they swim through land. When an Amakuk swims nearby, the ground will start to act more like quicksand, and if a person is holding a walking stick, they may swim up in it and into the person's body, weakening them. So
that's definitely got to be spiritual. It's got to be spiritual or like interdimensional for sure.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards spiritual because this is like leaning towards Druidism, where it's like a nature spirit. because it doesn't travel through the stone or through the floor into a person. It goes through the wood of a staff. And trees are often portrayed as living creatures or as an essence of a living creature. The Norse peoples would often say that fairies were living or hiding in the trees and wanted to cause harm. And so that's where the term knock on wood comes in, because from what I understand, from what I've read, knock on wood comes from the term that they believe that fairies are listening. And if they're in the trees, if they knock on the trees, they can't hear the people talk and they can't ruin their plans.
So you said that you think that they go up into the walking stick and but not in the person's body?
Well, I'm saying they go through the walking stick into the person, but they don't go through the land into the person.
Okay, so that's like kind of what connects it. Okay, I see what you're saying now.
Yeah, more so that like, I think that this is a nature spirit sort of story.
Yeah.
Because it seems like it can manipulate Earth, but it can't do whatever this transference is through the Earth. It has to go through the stick, which could be like I guess it could be like a conductor between a person and nature.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. While they are not well known for being carnivorous, they will occasionally eat humans. Usually they will wrap their arms around kayaks and then drag them underwater to eat the people in them. While some will flee to land, once an Amakuk has set its sights on someone, they cannot escape it. It will swim through land and water until it catches them. It can also leap through people, which leaves no mark, but kills them instantly.
That's
Amakuk
crazy.
yeah. That's interesting that they specified it leaves no mark, but kills them instantly.
Yeah.
Amakuk will sometimes make small nests, which they will guard like birds. However, there are no eggs in these nests, just scraps of fur. If a person steals the nest, it will bring them great riches, as anything broken or any scraps will become whole again the day after it is put in. Furs and skins are the most common examples of this, but they can also regenerate things like tools and clothes. Despite the fact that they do not seem to have their own children, they are associated with childbirth. Some accounts also claim that they can turn into Gamelek. The prevailing theory is that Amakuk are actually based on octopus. Ooh, I hadn't thought about octopus.
Interesting.
This one thing that they said that it can turn, or that it's related to the Gamelek. The Gamelek is a being from Yupik folklore. It takes the form of a person with a terrifying face, and it carries around a sled or a sack. These beings travel in a straight line across the tundra, pulling a sled or a bag behind them. If a person stands in their path, they will not be able to go around, and so will ask the person what they are doing in the way. If they do not respond, the Kamalek will start to offer them gifts in exchange for moving, such as wisdom, wealth, or a long life. It is advised that the person only answers once. The Kamalek has named everything they wanted, and as long as they leave and don't look back, the Kamalek will bestow these gifts upon them. How weird. These are not like, spiritual warnings. These are straight up instructions.
Yeah, I feel like I've just ordered from IKEA.
Yeah. How to deal with your Amakuk.
Yeah. spiritual warfare? Question mark. Here's how to deal with it.
Yeah, yeah. It's I don't know. I'm almost leaning towards interdimensional being.
I could see interdimensional. I could see that because it's like there's so much going on, and it's so. I don't even. It's so odd to the point where I don't even believe it's almost spiritual. Because spiritual, like you can kind of get an idea with it. This is just completely different.
Yeah. Because like a lot of the other cryptids we've gone over have given warnings of symbolism, like don't stray too close to the ocean, don't deal with these peoples. This is just like, this thing is real, and it's not necessarily hunting you, but if it chooses you, you're not getting away.
Yeah.
And then like
Which
warnings
is
of like,
bizarre
this
to
is
me.
how you can avoid becoming its target.
Right.
And then they just toss in at the end, the prevailing theory is that Amakuk are actually based on an octopi. You think octopi can swim
Which
in
is-
land?
Yeah. They
Look at
like
the mask.
so they like just gave all these instructions, and then at the very end, they basically just said, "But it may be an octopus."
Yeah, yeah. And like the mask here, that does not look like an octopus in any form.
No, it doesn't.
And the fact that they made a mask, which means it's you know, just theorizing, means that it has a face.
Yeah.
And like octopi kind of have a face, but it's almost indistinguishable from just its body.
Yeah.
This has probably become my new favorite cryptid of Alaska.
Oh, really?
This one
Pretty big one.
and the Cadborosaurus are my two favorites.
I was gonna say that one, that last one that we kind of did a little side trail on. That one seems interesting to me only because there was like that thing that was pulled out of a whale stomach.
Mhm.
That's
That's my big point too, is that there's actual photo evidence of something that we still can't figure out what it is.
Yeah.
This one's probably one of my favorites though, because like my writer's brain is just turned on of like there could be so many stories that come out of this kind of creature, and so many of it is just like, this is not just, you know, a spirit, or it's not just a monster that constantly hunts humans. It says they are not well known for being carnivorous. And it,
Which that interests me a little bit because now I'm like, they're not known to be carnivorous, but they eat humans, which means
Yeah.
they're most likely. I'm assuming what it means is that I wish it kind of put what its diet was. I guess you could say.
yeah. It kind of gives me grizzly bear vibes, where it's like
Yeah.
berries, roots, and salmon, and sometimes it'll hunt like a deer or something.
Yeah, so like omnivores, basically.
Say again?
Omnivores, that's what they're called. They eat both
Yeah.
plants and animals.
Yeah. So I'm kind of thinking that, of like, you know, these things are super rare, and, you know, that they don't often, are not often carnivorous. Probably saying like they're not often a threat, but if they are, you know, there's not getting away from it.
I want to know. I'm curious as to like why do that.
Yeah.
Because if they can make a living off of not being carnivorous, but then they're so fixated on hunting a specific person that they're hunting that thing. That's what's crazy to me. Is that
And-
because like whenever like let's say a lion and it's like gonna eat like a zebra, but zebras usually go into like packs and stuff like that. Well, as long as the lion gets eaten, like it's gonna pick whatever's eaten. Usually they'll focus on one, but if it loses track, there can be other ones. This thing
Yeah.
is like, no, I want this person, and it doesn't even focus on eating humans. It's not even all the way carnivorous. It's an omnivore, but it focuses more on like herbal kind of like stuff. So that's what's messing with my mind so much.
Because there's the fourth paragraph here. They are not well known for being carnivorous, and then the line right after that, but they will occasionally eat humans. So it sounds like you're saying they're not even entirely carnivorous, but even when they're carnivorous, it's not always humans.
Yeah, that. So what I'm saying is that like, the opposite of that, they're not
I think I get what you
in
mean.
general.
It's that
Yeah, but then
like
it specifically says
once an Amakuk has set its sights on someone, they cannot escape it.
yeah. So what I'm confused about is that it says it's not well known for being carnivorous. So obviously they don't eat meat as often, but occasionally they eat human. So occasionally they'll eat meat. It doesn't say occasionally they'll eat rabbit or something like that. It says human. It's
Yeah.
like thing eats herbs and vegetables and stuff like that, or whatever it eats, not meat. But occasionally it will eat a human, which that just is crazy to me a little
That's
bit.
interesting. I wonder if it ties in with the shape-shifting aspect. Like, because it says they like lock on a target basically, and I'm almost
And they're
wondering
not
if
breaking
like
it.
yeah, I'm almost wondering if like them portraying themselves as a human, if maybe their target was never their target, but maybe did something to them when they were in human form that it caused them
Like a revenge thing.
yes, almost murderous.
Okay.
Of just like, I'm human, you know? I'm tired of being Amakuk, I'm human. And then somebody makes it angry, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna revert to Amakuk to get this one guy.
That's interesting. I could kind of see that then. Yeah.
And like the nest is interesting too. How it has
The nest is
regenerative
out there.
capability. Do what?
I said the nest is just out there.
Yeah.
All of it's out there.
Yeah, it's another like very specific detail that it makes a nest but does not lay eggs, but it guards it like a bird. And then if you take the nest, then it is as if you have found a treasure, or like a treasure chest. Because you can put broken things in it, and then the next day it will be as if it was brand new. There's got to be like a story, like a folklore story of a hero that encountered an Amakuk, right? I'm just not seeing.
I feel like there has
stories.
to be. That's what's kind of like setting my brain off, is because like there's nothing like there's no story to it.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, this is It's just instructions.
It's so strange. And it's said to be in the Bering Strait, or near the Bering Strait, which means it's between this Alaska and Russia connection. So
Okay.
I almost wonder does Russia, do they have a story of the Amakuk?
That's a good question.
So weird. This is the most captivating story for me so far.
There's so much to unpack, but I'm over here like I really just want a story. Like there's gotta be a
Yeah.
story somewhere.
It's
has to
it's
be.
different. If there's like a legend, like a lore, I can rationalize it to just, tribal folklore. But there is no rationale here. It's just a created creature, if not a witnessed creature, and they have rules for it. As if it's like, if you encounter a wild bear, play dead. And because it will sometimes hunt humans.
Mm-hmm. There's
like,
just
it's,
there's not enough things.
Yeah.
I just story. That's literally it. That's all I'm asking.
Just want a story.
Story, man.
Let's see. Amakuk. It is described as a large, slimy, leathery skinned animal which will wrap its arms around people and kayaks and drag them down. There's nothing here.
There's nothing.
Naturalist Edward William Nelson reported that several dry lake beds were shown to me in that vicinity as having been drained by these animals when they swam out to the sea, leaving a channel made by their passage through the earth. It is said that if the Amakuk returns, the water follows from the sea and again fills the lake. Nelson believed the Amakuk was a purely mythical animal, which was based on the octopus. What's the evidence for that, other than, multiple arms? It's just crazy. Like this shape almost looks like an octopus. Like
It does.
if the eyes were here, that would look like an octopus.
It would, yeah.
But still, it's always specified 4 arms. You would think that if
photo.
Yeah. You would think that if it was like a fake creature, they would want to add more arms. Of like, oh, this thing had 8 arms and it wrapped around everything, and like the Kraken. But
I don't know what it is.
this is fascinating. I love this. This is definitely my favorite story so far. Okay. So, we got like 2 more stories to go through. So what do we want to? Or it's 1 more monster, but it's 2 more stories. So,
Okay.
what do we even categorize this as?
I guess interdimensional is the only thing I can really think of.
I don't know. I almost want to say alien.
Alien would be good. That would be a good one too.
I feel like for the description, oh man, shapeshifter.
There's so much. I could see alien. I could.
Too. I feel like shapeshifter can lead more into interdimensional and alien than spiritual.
Yeah.
We're not seeing anything spiritual.
Yeah,
Some of the stuff
yeah.
could be described as spiritual, but overall it could also be explained in interdimensional and alien.
Because spiritual, a lot of times I think of like a mental kind of more take on
Yeah.
some things, like how they kind of like lure people in and stuff like that. Like they make them do the work. This thing just goes for it.
It lives its
So
own life.
it does, yeah. So I would say probably like alien category, interdimensional kind of category.
Yeah. It with the shape-shifting, and if that's true about like it becoming angry and then turning back into the Amakuk, that almost sounds like an alien story of something trying to fit in on Earth. But when it's found out, it becomes, aggressive.
Yeah.
I don't know. Interdimensional and alien fits both of this. This is so fascinating. For now, I'm gonna put interdimensional.
Okay.
That's crazy. Okay. So last stories.
Okay.
This one's these are interesting. This is also kind of a disturbing story.
Okay.
But it's also like really interesting folklore that I feel like some truth could be taken away from this story. So I'm gonna read over it real quick.
Uh-huh.
Cats belonged to the Kagwe Antan and lived at Sitka.
Sitka, Alaska? Oh, okay.
Apparently. One day, he went hunting with dogs, and while his dogs ran on after a male bear, the bear's wife took him into her den, concealed him from her husband, and married him. He had several children by her. Indoors, the bears take off their skin coats and are just like human beings. So this sounds like giants.
Whoa.
By and by, he wanted to go back to his people, but before he started, she told him to not smile at or touch his Indian wife, or take up either of his children. After his return, he would go out for sea lions, and other animals, which he carried up into an inlet where his bear wife was awaiting him. Then the cubs would come down, pull the canoe ashore violently, take out the game, and throw it from one to another up to their mother. On account of the roughness of these cubs, it came to be a saying in Sitka, "If you think you are brave, be steersman for cats." One day, Katz pitied one of his children and took it up. The next time he went up the inlet, however, the cubs seized him, threw him from one to another up to their mother, and so killed him. Then they scattered all over the world and are said to have been killed in various places. What is thought to have been the last of these was killed at Whitestone Narrows. When some people were encamped there, a girl spoke angrily about Cat's child, and it came upon them, killing all except a few who escaped in their canoes, and this woman, whom it carried off alive, making her groan with pain. One man tried to kill it, but did not cut farther than its hair. Finally, all the Indians together killed it with their spears and knives. So, the origin story is another kind of one of those weird ones. But
Yeah.
then it describes like giant bear people.
Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of interesting. I feel like this more, if the bear people are real, I feel like it more so harkens to the torrent again.
Okay, I can see that.
Or tornets, sorry.
No, I understand what you're saying.
And apparently there's like a totem and a whole lore behind it, which is really interesting. It's gonna take a long time to read over the story, but if you guys are interested in it, I'll put it on the Instagram account if you guys go follow that. So we're gonna go ahead and go to our last creature, Tinmi Ukpuk, the Thunderbird. I'll read the description and habitat if you read its history and weaknesses.
Okay.
Let's see, which one is this? Yeah, Guide to Monsters of Alaska. Most depictions of the Thunderbird are of a giant eagle with a black tail and a severely curved beak. Thunderbirds are so large that they hunt whales as food. Thunderbirds can be found all along the coast of Alaska from the Bering Strait to the Panhandle. As their name suggests, they come out during thunderstorms. Or they may be the spirit of the thunderstorm itself. Stories say that the blink of their eyes create lightning and the beat of their wings create thunder.
Okay. Their history, it is unknown if there are many Thunderbirds or just a single one known as Tinmi Ukpuk. They may be physical creatures who nest and create offspring, or spirits, manifestations of Thunderbird or thunderstorms that are both real and ephemeral. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, it
Okay.
means like spiritual.
Thank you. Because I didn't know that. If the latter is the case, Thunderbirds may be as old as creation. And Ojibwe? How do you say that?
Ojibwe?
Ojibwe. Oh, that actually makes sense. Okay, so Ojibwe traditions in eastern Canada, Thunderbirds were created to fight underwater spirits. These seems to coincide with the Alaskan myths of the bird hunting whale. Oh, okay, interesting. Their weakness, so as creatures, there may be a way to defeat them, but as spirits, they can only be appeased. The
That's
best
interesting.
course of action is to seek shelter, which may be a given considering you would already be in a thunderstorm. Oh, okay, interesting.
It's kind of giving Night Fury vibes from How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah, that's smart. I like that description.
Its only weakness, pray and hope it doesn't find you.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'll be
This is
praying.
cool. Yeah. The reason, so these stories seem a bit far-fetched, but it's not so much the spiritual reason that I added the birds to the list of cryptids. It's because later on, I think in Arizona and Texas, we'll find more creatures that are called the Thunderbird. And it's these supposedly giant eagles.
Ooh.
And so I found this one interesting because it easily connects with other Native American stories of giant birds. And I like the way this one just like pans out. It almost feels like it's like the dragon book from How to Train Your Dragon, just explaining what it is, not really giving a story of how the lore came to be, but just the fact that it is. That's cool. So, all right, guys. let's see. So cats, the bear people, it seems like it's a bit far-fetched, but it kind of ties in with like giants, maybe. It seems like the story is more of an allegory, so maybe spiritual. It's the reason I added it was the fact that they said they know it had been killed at this place by these people.
Yeah.
And it's always specifications that like catch my eye. So I'm gonna put probably just a story, just a folklore. I'm gonna make folklore a actual option because like some of them are interesting. Some of these stories are interesting, but some of them don't have a place in the game I want to make, and so it'll just be folklore. Like the Adlets, the Dogleg tribe, they'll probably just be a folklore. Okay, so Tin Mi Ukpuk, the Thunderbird. I'm gonna say, I know we didn't read a whole lot, but it's kind of a introduction to the Thunderbirds. I'm gonna go ahead and put possible animal because we're gonna read a lot of other cool stories.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good to me.
And it looks like I had one more written down called the Stonaliasna, the People Stealer. But it looks like there wasn't that much to go on, so we might put that in a not enough info, and maybe we'll come back to it on another video. Because I'm also really tired and ready to go to sleep. Alright, so
get that.
Ooh. We got cryptids getting built, and by the end of the series, I'm hoping to have like all of the general locations of cryptids on the world map.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see what creatures coincide with others, what creatures are just like the same creatures but different names. And if we can find the same creature with different names, that is strong evidence of a real creature.
Watch at the end of this, you're gonna see like on the world map, it's gonna draw a picture.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Well, there's always that theory that the 411 missing people's cases actually and literally lines up with common cave locations of America.
Listen, don't be getting me into any trouble now here.
I'll just say you didn't know anything, and I take full responsibility
I didn't know anything.
for discovering new cryptids. Sitting in an office in Oklahoma.
They're gonna find all of these videos and be like, oh yeah, really?
They're gonna be like, how does he know?
They're watching right now.
Oh, probably, yeah. You know what? If I get kidnapped, it's a sign that one, if not most of these things are real. Let this be the warning now. If I go missing, or, if I get, unalived in the back of the head, just know I am not depressed. I do not have these thoughts, and somebody probably did it to me, and it wasn't Perky Panda, because she's a saint.
She is a saint.
So, if I go missing, then you'll know one of, if not most of these things are true. And if I don't get killed and go missing, they just kind of like take me away, then that's even better. I'll get to actually witness these things. That's awesome. So sorry for you guys, but, you know, I get to see them. So, alright. With that being said, appreciate you guys. I know this one went pretty long. I don't think the next one will be as long. Alaska has a lot of creatures, and as you've witnessed here in this one video, it can bunny trail with how many creatures that are supposedly in Alaska, in the Alaskan area. The next one we're going to do is Arizona, and so it should be a lot more contained than all of Alaska / Greenland / Canada. So,
Okay, that makes sense.
Arizona is going to be really interesting. I've already looked ahead a little bit at it. It's going to be good. I'm excited for this. So, that being said, I appreciate you guys and love you all. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the little bell. Otherwise, you'll never get these videos. And I won't be able to make my big game studio with the goal in mind if you guys don't contribute to spreading the word and talking with me. I'll never know what you guys want if you never talk to me. So, love you guys, and I hope you all have a good night. See y'all